What's up, everybody? How y'all doing? I wanted to let you guys know about an experience I just had, okay? So let me give you guys a little backstory. In life, I think from a very young age, and I've explained this before, that I have been in survival mode. Like, my whole life has been fight or flight. So my brain has always been in overdrive because in any situation, I have to be aware of my surroundings. I have to be aware of the people. I have to be aware of what's going on. That's just the way my brain is wired. So no matter what type of situation I'm in, my brain is like always looking, trying to see what's going on. Try to see who's who, what's what. Like, my brain is just always on 1,000, even in, like, let's say work task or just anything in general. Like, my brain works on 1,000. So even in daily life situations, my brain is just always on 1,000 and just looking for, routes to take to get me to from point A to point B. But also, if things are thrown at me in the process, my brain is on 1,000, trying to figure out how to pivot, how to readjust, and just how to take in what's going on the best way possible while still trying to get to point B. That's just the way that I'm wired, and I feel like it has a lot to do with my background, my childhood, the way I was raised, and everything of that nature. So as an adult, like we all do, we all grow, okay? And I'm at a point in my life where all I want is peace. I've lived the fast life. I've done everything that I've ever wanted to do except travel. And I've always said that I wanted to wait until I was like 40 years old to travel, because I knew that the way my life was going, by the time I was 40, I would be on cruise control for the rest of my life, so that I can enjoy traveling. I can travel for 6 months at a time and not worry about having to get back to work or having to make up for the money that I spent. Like, I've been working to put myself in that position. So I've always said at 40 years old, that's when I'm going to start traveling. So I've done everything else that I've wanted to do in life. I've lived a great life. I wouldn't change it for the world. Of course, I've had ups, I've had downs. There's situations that maybe I'm not proud of, but I made it out on the other side, and they're part of my testimony now. And I feel like, as a vessel of God, everything that I've went through is to warn others, help others, whether they're part of my family or not. So lately I've been in the process of rewiring my mind, rewiring my brain. It's like how you think about it, a big boat in the middle of the ocean that has just been fast paced this way. But you realize ain't no land over there, and over there is sharks and everything dark, negative. You shouldn't be going that way. You know what I'm saying? You realize when you're this close to destruction. So now you got to stop the boat and turn this big ass boat around and find another route to get to the gold. Okay, so that's what my life is in. I'm in the process of turning my life around, righting all my wrongs, and just wanting to be at peace. Okay, so obviously, like I said, I've been in the industry, I've been in the nightlife, I've been in a fast-paced life. Okay, so that means drinking, drugs, sex, parties, everything that you could think of that's not conducive to you being at peace in life. Okay, so recently, within the last few years, I gave up drinking cold turkey by the grace of God. I didn't need any rehab. I didn't need any help. I just realized that this is not where I want to be in life. In the recent years, I've given up the nightlife. I no longer work at the clubs. I just felt, because I wasn't drinking, I would be at work, and I just felt like I wasn't supposed to be there. I kind of felt I was too good for the people that are there on a mental and a spiritual level. And y'all can call me, y'all can say that's ego. It's just, for me, it was growth. And I just no longer, I felt my time in the club was up, and I had to just take a leap of faith because I had no plan. I didn't know what I was going to do as far as the money, doing anything that could make me the same money that I make in the club. I took a leap of faith, put God first. I left the club. I no longer work in the club. And, you know, I've been spending time reading my Bible and strengthening my relationship with God and understanding the word and, you know, working out. I've been heavily working out. I've already stayed working out and eating well, and it's just now that is enhanced. So if I'm not doing anything that isn't beneficial to the future version of myself, and the future version of myself is at peace, okay? And so I don't do anything that doesn't. So I'm working out, it helps the future version of me. Waking up, praying, reading my Bible, listening to the word, it helps the future version of me. Meditating helps the future version of me. Eating properly helps the future version of me. I don't do anything that will hinder my growth or slow down the process of me becoming who I'm supposed to be in the eyes of God. So I realize that even when I do these things, you know, when I meditate or take walks on the beach or even trying yoga, I still feel like my brain is fast paced. And I just was at a point where I was like, I just want to be calm, even when I'm calm. You know, when I go to sleep at night, it takes me an hour or two for my brain to shut down. And I'm just like, this is not right. Even trying little tricks like turning off the TV or staying off of social media. That's really when my brain goes on 1,000, because there's nothing there that my brain is watching or nothing that's stimulating my mind. It's left with just me and my brain is just thinking about the future and what I'm going to do tomorrow and how I'm going to get there, the steps I'm going to take, the goals that I need. You know, this is what I'm thinking about when I close my eyes, when it's just me and my brain. And I'm like, you know, I want my brain to calm down. I just want to be at peace. And I don't want to smoke weed. I've never been like a heavy drug user. I've had my stint, but drugs are not for me. And by the grace of God, I didn't turn into a drug addict or anything. I didn't get addicted. So I didn't want to smoke weed because all my friends that smoke weed, they're really, really slow, and I'm real active, like, and that has a lot to do with my brain, but I still want to be active. I still want to get up and want to go work out and move around and make things happen. You know, I don't want to do that and be extra, extra slow, but I do want to be at peace. So I don't know. Anyway, so I just don't want to smoke weed. So I'm like, what can I do? And it was kind of bothering me that, you know, if I sit down for a long period of time, I got to shake. If anybody knows me, like if I'm sitting for too long, I'm shaking my leg, I'm tapping my nails, I'm biting my nails, because that's anxiety. Like, anxiety is when you're worried about the future, and that is for sure me. So I was just, you know, doing some research, but then I had a friend that I was talking to, and we were just randomly talking, and he was just telling me about people doing ketamine treatments. And I've done a psilocybin ceremony before that was so amazing for me, but I did a psilocybin ceremony in a spiritual way. It was more so spiritual for me. And I talked to God during that psilocybin ceremony. There was 3 moments in my life when I talked to God. Once when I had a near-death accident and I was unconscious, I felt to God. I still feel the moment to its intensity till this day. And then when I had my psilocybin ceremony, I talked to God. I still feel that to this day. And my psilocybin ceremony was so spiritual. It was so beautiful. It was something that I wanted to share with everyone. And I went live while I was doing it. It was just God telling me that you need to share this. And I was feeling so hard for the strong people around me, for my strong friends. So while I was on that trip, I was thinking about others, but that's just the type of person that I am. I'm a selfless person, and I don't care about sharing my trials and tribulations, no matter how crazy they make me look. I just know that I'm helping someone out there with my trials and tribulations. Being that I did the psilocybin ceremony, I already kind of was in that realm. So ketamine isn't too far off. When he was speaking about it, I really pushed it to the back of my brain, because we weren't speaking about it in a sense of me revealing to him that, I want to be at peace and I want to calm my nerves, and I didn't want to go to a doctor for anxiety pills. I just didn't want any drugs. So I didn't know what I should do. So every day I'm just living my life like I just want to be at peace. I just want to be at peace, to the point where I almost got depressed. And I'm not a person of depression. I am a very optimistic person. So I knew when I got to that point where it almost felt like I was depressed because I couldn't calm down, it was time to do something. So I remembered the conversation I had with my friend about ketamine. So I started Googling ketamine and its benefits. A lot came up about ketamine, good for anxiety, depression, PTSD, and that was everything I felt like I needed help with. I just wanted to be calm. So I wanted my anxiety to go away. I felt like I was on the realm of depression because I knew there was something wrong, but I couldn't pinpoint what it was and how to fix it without going to a doctor and having to be prescribed medication. I didn't want that. So I was like, okay, ketamine could be a choice. I really put in my brain, I just wanted to be calm. And ketamine is to help rewire your brain as well. And like I said, I was already familiar with doing these things because of the psilocybin trips that I have taken. So I went into it very, very open. And I also went into it knowing that I would see God. I knew that I would be able to sit next to God and have a conversation with him. And that for me is rewiring my brain. And that's exactly what happened with me during ketamine. I found this doctor. I went in. They were very open. They made me feel very, very comfortable. I filled out my paperwork. The paperwork asked me a bunch of questions to the point where I was like, okay, maybe I got a mental disorder, But I filled out the paperwork truthfully, and they were like, you're a good candidate for ketamine. So they ended up putting me in the room. They injected the ketamine into my veins, and then within a few minutes, you on your trip.
She is getting an IV.
Getting ready to go to another dimension. I gotta talk to God real quick. I'll be back. What I did was listen to TD Jakes, because I listen to TD Jakes. I love Savage Jakes. I love Core Jakes. I just love all the Jakes. Okay, so I went into this different realm, listening to the word of God. So while I was under, because that's what it feels like when you're going on a trip. If you like if you've ever gotten anesthesia and you go under, that's what it is. Except that while you're under, you're seeing. For me, I was seeing myself from the outside looking in. Okay, that was my first trip, my first two trips. This trip, it was more so, rather than looking in the past, I was looking to the future. I was looking in my future, and I was doing it with God by my side, and I was listening to the word while I was doing it. So I was heavily, I didn't cry. I came out of it knowing what's next. I came out of it because I knew what's next. I knew, and some people will say you don't need ketamine to know that God got you and God is going to order and direct your steps. It wasn't that. It's a whole different feeling. I just felt at peace. I felt at ease. Not only because I talked to God, but because I now knew what was wrong with me. And in another video, I'll state that as well. The ketamine experience for me was a great one. It lasts 15 minutes. It helps with anxiety. It helps with depression. It helps with PTSD. And for some people who have some, mild cases of mental disorders, it helps as well. I feel like, for a long time I was battling what I was going through mentally by myself, because if you don't know what's wrong, it comes off as normal. And then in your brain, you could think that something's wrong with you, and that could drive you into depression, not being able to share with people around you for fear of people judging you or making fun of you, or not being able to understand fully what you're going through. So it can, put you in a dark space, not being able to know what's wrong with you or reveal what's wrong with you. So Ketamine rewires your brain. It helps to rewire your thought process. For some people, it takes more treatment. Some people do this like on a monthly basis. That is not for me, and I don't see how they do that, because for me, it's more so spiritual than anything. Some artists, a lot of the greats, the billionaires, a lot of successful people do this, and they do it on a regular, but for me, it's more so spiritual. And I want to say that my ketamine experience was top notch. I do believe it's not for everyone. I believe that you have to go in it open heart. You have to go in it ready and willing to submit. And for me, it did wonders. It was definitely worth the $650 that I spent. The doctor was great. My trip was great. My word with God was amazing. It was just like everything was laid out in front of me. It kind of felt like my brain all this time, like I just had a block. I would get to a certain level and it would be a block because my brain didn't know how to figure out how to get over or around this block. So I would be in panic mode. And doing this ketamine therapy, it just helped me figure out that really all you got to do is push the block down. You know, so I would recommend ketamine to people who are ready and willing to let loose, to submit. You, because you have to be ready to submit. You have to be ready for anything that comes to your brain, because it's not always going to be peaceful, but it's yourself holding yourself accountable. So you have to be ready to face the harsh reality if that's what comes on your trip. Okay, I would recommend a ketamine treatment for anyone. I feel like older people should definitely indulge in ketamine therapy, especially people who have never been to therapy, people who are set in their ways, but they want to change and they want peace and they want calmness and they want stillness. So ketamine for me was a great experience, and I'm just, you know, ever since that therapy session, I've just been like, I wake up way more optimistic than I have. I wake up ready to conquer the world. I wake up excited about the future me. Like, it's undescribable. It's even the psilocybin ceremony, that feeling was undescribable, but I just feel like this is a gift I wish I could give to everyone. And that's why I'm doing this video, because it is a gift to let everyone know that there is help. There is, you know, there's nothing wrong with you. You are just set in your ways. Maybe you're limited to advice. You're limited to knowledge. Some of us didn't have the best mentors or examples. So our brain, you know, it doesn't know a lot. And going through ketamine therapy just opens and expands your brain and rewires your thought process and lets you know that there are other options out there. And that's why I'm letting you guys know about my ketamine experience. So if you guys ever had a ketamine experience, or if you ever felt the way that I was feeling before my ketamine experience, please comment below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on this channel. I appreciate you guys for subscribing with me. I appreciate you guys for going along with me on my life journey. I know I do a lot of different types of videos, but hey, one video will touch someone out there. But I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And until the next video, smooches.